Hey guys, just got home, just left hubby at the hospital, and I wanted to come on here and do a video. I went ahead and prayed before I started. Hopefully, I can share a good message. Today was a bit rough, but not every day is a good day. But we always need to be thankful for that day and grateful for that day, right? Like, we need to have gratitude for even the not so great days. I woke up early. Just tell you a little bit about my day. Woke up early, like at 5 something, a little bit worried because I felt like I knew that the wound care doctor was going to stop by like at 4:05 in the morning because that's what they told us. And so I ended up waking up like in a rush, trying to see if I could catch my husband awake to see if, Anyway, the point is that I got a hold of him and the doctor hadn't been by. So, we talked for a little bit. He kind of gave me some updates of what was going on and stuff. And so I had a little bit more of some time to get ready for the day. And so I told the kids, I went to my kids and I said, hey, y'all get dressed, get up. They wanted a little bit more time to sleep, so I let them sleep a little bit. I went to go and shower, and then I spoke to my brother, spoke to my mom, and told him about the finding about the bead in his foot. It's so weird how that happened, but I'm glad that the wound care specialist stopped by and was able to push that out. It's just really weird how it started traveling up so high into the foot. So anyway, they found that, they removed it. Just crazy, but at least one less problem. He's still on antibiotics. They're still doing his BP meds. They're still doing my husband's, they're still doing the insulins, 2 of the insulins, the fast acting and the regular one. They still have him connected to the heart monitor to just make sure that, he's fine. They still have an IV running on him. They stopped the nausea medication because he's been doing good on that. He has a slight cough. I'm not sure really why he's been coughing, but it's here and there. Yesterday was a little bit more. Today was a little bit less. What else? So like they're still hydrating him with the IV. His blood pressure and his blood sugar were better today. They're more stable. What else? Okay, so I didn't get to see Dr. Peña show up today, his doctor, but they were trying to order an MRI, and the nurse came in from the night shift and said that they're going to reschedule that for tomorrow morning, like at 8 or 9. So he didn't have it today. He waited all day today, and he didn't have it today. So they just want to make sure he doesn't have an infection in the bone. They still haven't discarded it or anything, but I'm kind of glad that they kind of like are putting it off a little bit more. His foot was kind of swollen today, and so I treated it in the morning. I did the wound care in the morning with the wound cleanser, and then, sorry guys, I'm tired. The wound cleanser, and I put iodine and the hydrogel, and I wrapped it, and they brought me more gauze. They were super nice and everything to bring me I have stuff, but they brought me some more stuff. So took care of that in the morning and took care of that in the evening right now after I didn't have him take a shower. He wanted to take a shower, so he asked me in the morning to bring him, the undergarments and to bring him some headphones because he was having some trouble sleeping last night. Apparently the IV tore open and wet the entire bed. It wasn't really the bag, sorry. It was the ivy came out of place or whatever, and so the entire bed was wet. I don't know. He said that happened, so they had to change the whole bedding. Because he wasn't able to sleep, they offered to bring like one of those waffle mattresses. And so that, I guess, has been a little bit of help. So I did notice a difference on the bed today. What else? He had some breakfast. He had his lunch. He had his dinner. He has been leaving like any sugary stuff, like, I don't know, like the oranges that they brought him. Yeah. I got there a little bit later because I had to go get stuff for our home. I'm just trying to think of everything. Sorry. I got there a little bit later because I had to bring some stuff for our home because the kids needed some things. And so I went to HEB with them in the morning and taught my son to drive a little bit just on a parking lot. And then, because I need him to have some knowledge because I sometimes might need some extra help and stuff. And he's already 18, so he needs to start learning. And so we've been teaching him, but I just started doing it alone because my husband's in the hospital. But I need another pair of hands. So anyway, yeah, we did that, dropped off the groceries at home, and then I wanted the kids to go see my husband. So we went to go and see him. And my husband's family, well, not his family, his mother was there, and she brought over a friend. And so I wasn't expecting that visit. But anyway, she was there. I still did the wound care and everything. She was there shortly, and then we just started talking as a family, and I took a little bit of walk with my daughter a few times, and then was there with my hubby and stuff. The kids were falling asleep. They were tired. So I brought them home and they rested, and I went back to be with my husband. And so I was there, tried to get him to sleep as well because he hasn't been sleeping because of all the in and outs of, them having to take care of him and stuff, and food and, just going to the bathroom, just, things that he needs to do. And we were just waiting on this MRI to happen, and it never did. But I kept telling my husband to try to get some rest and, to just, I was there to take care of him, so to try to sleep. So he did sleep. He was snoring quite a bit, so I knew he was tired, but he was able to rest. The night shift nurse came in and told me about the MRI being postponed till tomorrow, and so we're like, okay. Funny moment, one of the doctors showed up and wasn't his doctor, and he said, "Is this Mr. Sanchez?" And then he's like, "No, I'm Mr. Cordova." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "I'm a kidney specialist." He's like, "My bad. Sorry." We just started laughing because he said, "My bad." He seemed like such a cool doctor. But anyway, that was a little bit of a laughter for me today. But anyway, it was a little bit of a rough day for me in the sense emotionally. But I think it's a little bit too because I wanted to do like a better video in the morning because I was more in a better spirit. I was like happy, trying to get my kids out, trying to do the things I needed to do. I was super pumped yesterday, super in tune. The devil wasn't going to get me yesterday, even with all the bad news and all the things that were coming. But today was a little bit more trying. I had to dig a little bit deeper today. I had to really search for comfort from my Father in heaven, and I had to ask him to take certain things from me. I needed him to step in and help me, today, because there are some things that I struggle with, and I feel the need to ask for extra help. And I'm just grateful that he gives that to me, right? And so but it was still like a little roller coaster ride. It was kind of like up, down, up, down, up, down. So it was a lot of like, mentally and emotionally. It was like a little bit of a rough day for me. And then the hospital came by, the people from the financial department came by and also like were wanting to know if I could give a deposit or whatever, because my husband right now at this very moment, he doesn't have insurance. And he is working and stuff, but he doesn't have insurance. And so that kind of like puts a little bit of a burden, and kind of, I didn't want my husband also to see that it kind of affects me. So he kind of just looked at me like, what are we going to do kind of a thing. And I'm just kind of like trying to keep a straight face, like, it is what it is. And so I said I don't have that amount. And I told her, well, is there any programs that will help me financially to take care of all this stuff? And anyway, so my husband gave the information to a lady from the hospital, and she didn't get back to him. So I don't know if he's going to qualify for anything right now, but I am definitely praying and asking the Lord to kind of step in and try to keep my sanity with that. But it didn't let me win me over. I'm still hopeful that they'll find a charity or some sort of program that will help. But I tried to keep a good spirit about it and try to not allow my husband to see a lot of the frustrations that I carry and stuff. But I kind of broke down a little bit today, and I just kind of let him have it. I kind of let him, like, I need some help. Like, I released everything I had to release, and I had some help. I had asked in prayer for God to like help me read some scriptures that would help me feel better. And honestly, I was reading, I had my app open for my gospel library, and I asked God to like, help me. And so I was reading this chapter in 2 Kings, and I was like, oh, like none of this pertains to me, right? I'm like, oh, like how is this supposed to help me? I wasn't getting anything from it. And I'm like reading these scriptures, right? And I'm like, I'm not getting anything. And I think it's because I mentally and emotionally was not in tune, because I was carrying something, right? I was upset about things that happen, when you're at the hospital and stuff. And I was just like, I just wasn't in tune. And so I wasn't getting anything from these scriptures. And it happens. You're not in tune, or you're angry, or you're stressed out. Like, even though you pray or whatever, sometimes it's hard for you to be in tune. And so I was like asking for like, scriptures that would be like quick to like, comfort, like Psalms, or like, just scriptures that would really hit quickly, right? And it wasn't that. It was more like reading, and I'm like, when is it going to get to the good part, right? When am I going to get my answer? And so I get to the very ending of that 2 Kings chapter, and I kind of just gathered from what I got from the scriptures was kind of like to have faith, right? To have faith, and that you need to put your faith in the Lord. And, so it was a simple thing, but I needed something stronger than that. And so anyway, after I had that prayer and I read that whole chapter, I got something out of it, but I wasn't really like really moved. A friend of mine sent me some scriptures with a long message for me to read. And I was very touched by that, because I was like asking the Lord to help me. And he did. He sent somebody who is very dear to our family, and he sent these scriptures and reminded me about the walk that Christ had, and about how we need to be better. We need to walk higher. We need to follow his example. Even when, all these things happened to Christ, right? And the way that they were with him, and, up until he got crucified. And so he just kind of reminded me that I'm not alone, that God is aware of me, and that he will help me through everything. to stop carrying everything myself and kind of like pass it over to him. And it's kind of hard. It is hard, but like yesterday I was willing to do that. And today it was a little bit harder for me to do that. And so then I was still struggling a bit, and I had to release things with my husband, and I asked him for advice. And then on top of that, I asked him for a priesthood blessing. I asked my husband to give me a priesthood blessing because I felt like I really needed it. And so he gave me one, and it has been one of the most beautiful blessings he's ever given me. And it just reassured me, and it kind of just restated what my friend had actually told me in the scriptures he shared with me. And so I was just so blessed to be reminded that we need to walk higher, and we need to be better. We need to be holier. We need to follow Christ's example, that even when others, fail to see who we are, what we do, and everything that we've been through, Christ knows exactly what that feels like. And so I know he's going to help me. And I just felt such peace come over me, and we just hugged, and I thanked him, and I cried. And it just kind of like lifted something like off of me. And I needed that. But, on the way home, the one down there doesn't stop. He'll still keep trying. He'll keep trying to stir things in your mind and keep reminding you of those words that were said, or things that are the way people treat you and stuff, right? And so I'm like, no, you're not going to win, because yesterday I was really strong, and you're not going to win. And so I was just kind of reminded today, for some reason, that I need to start with God first again. And I did. I said a prayer in the morning, and I went about my day, but I wasn't doing so much scripture study like I have been doing daily. And so I think that's where I kind of messed up. I should have started with scripture study to really, really strengthen me. I kind of just did the mom duties, and I didn't start with him first. And I was just saying yesterday to start with God first. But sometimes not routine, because my routine lately has been to start with scriptures, but sometimes, things get in the way, and we don't do it. And so I didn't do it today. I hadn't done I did it later after I had a couple of trials come at me. And I was like, I'm going through this, and I'm not as strong as I'm supposed to, because I didn't do my scripture study this morning, and I should know better. But I was trying to fulfill my mom duty. And so this is just a reminder to me to just stay really close to God and allow him to fix whatever is coming at me, and allow him to fix whatever needs to be fixed. He is the one that I need to lean on. And at the end of the day, his opinion of me is what matters most. And it's hard, because you want to remove whatever things or things that come at you, or things that people say to you, or whatever, and it's difficult, because, you're human, and, people fail to see that you're human. And sometimes, it's hard, porque es muy fácil que se me suba. Es muy fácil que se me suba los Rodriguez. It's so easy for my Rodriguez to come out. I will. But I have to practice what I preach, right? And I'm not preaching to anybody. I just share my testimony half the time, and I share you a little bit of my life to try to help others. But at the end of the day, I'm not telling you I'm perfect. I am not perfect. I'm far from being perfect. And there's many people that think that I am imperfect. But I try every single day to walk with God and to be better. And I give a lot of grace, even when people don't think I am. I do. I dig really deep for other people. But I also have a heart, and God knows that I do. And my dad taught me que no me dejara. And so it's really hard for me to I want to say these things, but it's like, I try to hold back. But I'm not trying to walk like my dad taught me to walk. I'm trying to walk like my Father in heaven wants me to walk. And that is very difficult to do because we are living on earth and I'm human. But for the love that I have for my husband, I will do just about anything. He has been the kindest person and the most loving person to my family. And to me, and so it's like, it's hard. It's hard because I want to walk higher. But I fall short at times. And he just kind of reminds me, and I don't understand sometimes because he's just such a kind heart sometimes, and it's hard for him to get to that level where he gets angry or he says things and stuff. And sometimes I'm like, like, why don't you say anything? Like, why don't you, like, defend me, or why don't you, like, I get a little bit upset because I defend the people that I love. I am super overprotective, and I'm super like that when it comes to people I love. And so sometimes I don't understand, but I don't know. He just reminds me to walk a little bit higher. And the blessing that I got today from him was so beautiful that it reminded me that not everybody walks or has the knowledge that we do about Christ. And so a lot of people are going to fall short, and a lot of people are going to make mistakes, and they're going to say things, and they're going to do things. And people they haven't walked the path that we've walked. And unfortunately, they can't see, the struggle and the digging deep and the patience it takes. And so that's where we have to offer grace. And it's very hard to do at times, but I'm choosing to stand by my husband and, follow his lead. I say a few things here and there sometimes, but I do appreciate how kind he is. I remember one thing I did tell him: you better never lose that kind heart of yours, because if you ever lose your kind heart, you're going to lose me. Because that's something I love about him. I love that he has such a kind heart, and he just allows people sometimes to say things, and it just makes me angry because I never want anybody to make him feel bad or, bring him down or like insult him, or like he's already sick and then people say things to him and I become super protective and I get very angry, and I know I shouldn't get angry because I should be walking higher, but sometimes people are not very nice. And as much as I want to bring a side out of me out, I try to walk a higher way, and I will, because I have manners. I was brought up with manners, believe it or not, even though people might not think so. I have manners. My parents taught me to always come into a room and say hi to people and be kind to people. Don't say things that are like hurtful and stuff, right? Like, try to be mindful and stuff. But sometimes you need to tell people certain things. But anyway, it was a hard day for me today. It wasn't the easiest, but I made it through. I just got home. I asked God for help, extra help today. I asked him, to help me and just take it from me and just, yeah. And then I got that priesthood blessing for my husband. So he prayed for me, and he said such a beautiful prayer and reminded me that the Savior felt the same things that I was feeling when, we're Sometimes people want to make us feel like we fall short in a lot of areas. But God has seen my journey, and He's seen everything that I've been through, and my family. And so I will leave it up to Him to fix things and allow others to see for themselves. Sometimes we can't change what other people see or assume or think or do, but we can count on a higher love that will make things right. And one way or another, he does make it right. He's done it for me in the past. I know He'll do it again. I had a weak moment today, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna stay there. I remember my bishop once told me that, the sun rises tomorrow and it doesn't last forever. And I constantly have to remember that today was today and tomorrow might be better. And so, yeah. Yep. That's where I'm at. It has been quite the day. But as far as my hubby, I feel like he's doing better. I see him smiling more. I see him eating. He was eating really good today. I'm like, wow, you're eating like you're really hungry. So ya quieres que andas bien. Y anda jugando. He's playing around. He's doing things. I was like trying to get him to get in the shower and stuff. And the CNA came in to do the bed and to clean everything. And we were in the shower because, I was helping him or whatever. And I didn't want to make her feel awkward because I stepped out of the shower and I'm like, because whatever. She was like, I'm sorry, boys are weird. And she just kind of like laughed at it or whatever. And she kind of just agreed. And anyway, so I had my little laughing moments. I also got to see a CNA that has been taking care of my husband prior to this time that he's been sick. And so when he sees me, because I reminded him, that he's taking care of my husband before, now he always smiles. And so when I was walking with my daughter in the hallways, I told her, this is the CNA that used to take care of your dad. She's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. But he used to be so skinny and he would wear a beanie and he just seemed like very like in a shell a little bit, like kind of like more reserved, kind of more shy. And now he has like a new haircut and he's like a little bit more broad shouldered and a little bit more confident. So it's like nice to see like when people like blossom. And so I kind of like told my daughter, I'm like, look, and so anyway, that happened. And so he was kind of like making me smile, even though I wasn't feeling like smiling. He would come in the room. He's like, hey, what are you guys watching? Or like, because I tried to make conversation with him yesterday. And so he was making conversation today. So he kind of helped lift my spirit a little bit, and so God sends you little glimpses of light throughout the day, and it kind of makes things, a little bit better. And so I'm grateful for those kinds of things because it just reminds me that He's aware of me and my husband. And I just know that my husband hugged me at the end of the day and he reminded me how much he loves me and how grateful he is for me. And we just hugged and he just thanked me for taking care of him again and just kissed me and like on the forehead and on the cheek. And he just told me he loved me. And I know that he does, but I did tell him, I feel like you're on vacation here. I know you're going through all these things, but I don't have somebody to put my foot on, and I need you home. So I'm like, after you, I'm going to come on vacation too, even if it has to be the hospital. I'm not wishing that. I was just kind of trying to make him like, he's like, no. He's like, I'm going to get better and I miss you too, babe. And I'm like, no, you just seem like you're on vacation here. I was just playing. I was trying to make I wanted to make him laugh and I wanted to lighten up the mood. And so, yeah. And I told him he needed to call his kids because, he needs to call them in the morning. He needs to call them and check up on them and call them at nighttime and, pray with them and say goodnight with them. And so he said he was going to do that. And so I just drove home and things tried to kind of start stirring up again. And I was like, nope. That's not going to happen. So I decided to do this video instead. And I asked God to help me with it. And so I hope that it wasn't too, I don't know. It is what it is. It's the video that I have for you guys for today. Probably would have been different if I would have done it in the morning. But this is what you're getting. Not every day is a good day. But you still got to be grateful for that day. And God is aware of our needs. And sometimes we need to ask for extra help. And He does provide it. He does answer, and He answers quickly. In my experience, He answers quickly. At first, I didn't think so. But then when He sent my friend to send me all those scriptures, I was like, okay. And I'm just grateful because he stayed on text with me and he just reminded me to hang in there, and he sent me a bunch of scriptures, and I just appreciate that. I appreciate his family so much. His family has been very aware of us, and his daughter has also been reaching out to my daughter and just comforting her and reminding her that she's there and that she cares, and I just appreciate that so much. I love them for trying to reach out to us and just always making sure we're okay. And so I'm grateful for people that God sends our way to kind of comfort us and lift us up. Yeah, every time I end up in the hospital with something, He always sends somebody to kind of lift me up, whether that's by phone or text or through video, or He's just always aware of the things that we need. And so it's been a day, but it's time for rest now. I'm going to, as much as I can, I'm going to go in and see how the kids are doing. I need to be mindful of my kiddos, because when I used to take care of my dad in the hospital, kind of slipped on that. I don't want to slip on that. I have to divide myself. There has to be balance, and I have to watch over everybody at the same time. It's hard to be a mom. And sometimes people don't have a lot of grace. Can't see those things, that you're splitting yourself and you're trying to tackle so many things. But what I have been noticing is that God is allowing me, and I kind of feel weird because I've always been a person to pay attention to a lot of detail. And lately, that hasn't been the case. It's been where I see just what I need to see to get by. And so, yeah, it's really weird. I tell my husband, I'm just getting by. I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of things that are not necessary. And my husband has that, but it's more like with his ear. He has selective hearing. So maybe I need to develop some selective hearing, and I need to develop, my kids are messaging in my husband. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I need to develop maybe some selective hearing. If he's already helping me so I don't have to see everything, because I know things are not going to go perfect, and I'm just letting people do what they need to do. Once in a while I'll say, hey, did you do this? But for the most part, I'm kind of just letting things go. And so I had a friend yesterday asking me, do you know what medication? Do you know this? Do you know that? You know what they're giving? It's dude, I have no idea. I'm just letting people do their work. As long as they're not messing things up, I'm letting people do their work. And before it was different. I was constantly on people, and I guess I'm just tired. I'm tired, and I'm just kind of I need some help, But anyway, yeah, so the Lord is helping me in that sense. Maybe He can help me with a little bit of selective hearing, and maybe that'll help the situation. God blesses us in different ways. I'm sure He'll step in and help me in other ways. So anyway, I'm grateful for the lessons, even though that I learned today, because without those lessons, I wouldn't be able to progress. So I'm still grateful. And this mouth is running because of him, because honestly, I didn't know what I was going to say on this video. And I'm glad he stepped in and is helping me at least to remain graceful and try to be some sort of light out there. But I'm not perfect. And nobody is, right? So anyway, I will let you guys go. Thank you for stopping by. I wanted to give you guys an update, and I always try to fill in something with scripture or God or my testimony or my day. So be kind today, because I've just kind of not had the best day. Unless you want to see that 956 side, then go right ahead. I'm warning you though. Se me sale lo Rodriguez. I can show that side. But I'm trying to walk higher. Don't pick on me. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I gotta go do more mom duties. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. And pray for me. Pray for me, because I need a lot of prayer. I need to walk higher and holier. Bye, guys.